Sometimes people ask me about the best resources to support your faith, or maybe different tools or websites that I like to use as a Christian engaged with theology and apologetics. Let's take a look. It goes without saying that anyone engaged in Christian teaching should prioritize the Bible in their studies. As far as translations go, I use several, as well as the original Greek and Hebrew, but even without the original languages, the average reader will do well by reading several translations in order to capture the gist of what the original is trying to communicate. When I'm studying a specific passage of the Bible, I'll often check my own work against several Bible commentaries. Commentaries are books which are written to help explain the Bible. They often go verse by verse through the Bible and discuss things like historical context, any ambiguity in translation, what it means, maybe how it applies to the rest of theology or how it applies to our lives. Some commentaries are a single book for the whole Bible, but others are volumes of books, one or two written for each book of the Bible, written with a bunch of authors who spent months or years studying the particular book of the Bible that they are assigned to write on. If you go to bestcommentaries.com, you can check out which commentaries get the highest ranking for any book of the Bible. Be mindful, though, that the ranking is somewhat biased towards the evangelical tradition. And that's great if you want to see how evangelicals like myself think of biblical issues, but if you're looking to hear from a wider spread of scholarship, you might need to do a little more digging. Another important type of resource would be Old Testament and New Testament introductions, or surveys. If you've ever opened a study Bible to the beginning of the book of Romans or whatever, you'll notice some information discussing the book as a whole, its author, audience, where it was written and when, themes of the book, a general outline, etc. A survey or introduction is like an entire book dedicated to that kind of information, but just way deeper. This is an important resource when you want to learn more about the book's author, the dating of the writing, what the different viewpoints are, why people believe this or that about the book, and so forth. It's also great to orient you for success as you begin reading that book of the Bible yourself. Now, here's the challenge with these important resources like commentaries and introductions. The high level of scholarship and research invested into the development of each book has made it such that they can be quite expensive. So you may need to build your library slowly. But it's also worth checking if you live near a local seminary, which has a library. When I lived in Minneapolis, I'd sometimes swing by Bethel Seminary or Northwestern College. Now that I'm in Dallas, I'll swing by DTS. They often have those resources on hand at their library. When you're there, you might also be able to access their online databases of peer-reviewed theological journals, which are also great resources for all of these sorts of things. Any librarian there could help you out. One of the great tools for the church in our generation is Bible software. You'll find various free Bible study software online, but there's also programs like Logos and Accordance, which you can purchase. I use Logos. I love it. You may have seen me use it in some of my other videos. I'm not sponsored by them, but I'd gladly promote Logos just because of how useful their software can be when studying theology and the Bible. I can read the Bible in a ton of different translations, highlight stuff, leave notes, explore the original languages. I can search for a topic and get a curated list of dictionary and encyclopedia entries on that topic with books I own within Logos. I can do the same thing for any passage of the Bible and see different commentaries I own. I can perform detailed searches. Logos is a champ. Now, it comes with a heavy price tag, given how many of these commentaries and other scholarly resources come included. But there's a lot of different packages that you can choose from. And once you have it, you own it, and you can continue building your library just like you'd build a Kindle library. And it all extends the power of your study with Logos. So that's just a small sample of the resources I like to use in my study. I've got another video coming out next week where I'll share how I can study textual variants of the Bible using another resource, a text critical apparatus. Even if you have no idea what this is or how to use it, stick around because it's important to at least know about, especially when people argue that the Bible was corrupted and all the different manuscripts vary and can't know what it originally said, all that stuff. So we'll talk about that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.